faces dark times, no matter how rich or strong or enlightened they are. Some people do better than others. They rise to the challenge and ride the ups and downs to a successful outcome. How can you build your strength to hold and use power? In exploring pathways to power, there are 3 stages in the evolution. We've already explored the first stage, and that was examining those things which tend to disempower us, to block the power from flowing. Then we moved into the stage of examining what we can do to fuel and promote the power. Well, now we're going to take a look at how to sustain the power once we've got it going. One of the first things that can happen is that the power can be almost overwhelming. You know, power is really heady stuff. And sometimes a youthful person, an innocent person, someone who is inexperienced, gets some power and they go crazy. It's like this colt running wild in a field, going one direction and then another, racing around and around and around, lacking in focus. And that lack of focus tends to drain the power off. And that can be a problem. Also, in the new use of power, we sometimes become rather arrogant. We think we're hot stuff, and that can turn the power off. Others will not have much respect for us when we are too full of who we think we are. Another way that power can be drained off is when we become very fixated. Someone who is idealistic, where it's either right or wrong, black or white, there's only one way. They shut down the ways in which the power can be adapted to situations. That inflexibility does diminish the power source. So, what can we do in order to sustain our power? Well, I'm going to talk about accessing the gift of guidance. It's really very, very helpful to have a mentor or a model to help us with the gift of guidance and input. This is somewhat of a picture of it. When a spring bubbles out of the ground, it's vibrant and it's fresh and it can go in any direction. And it helps to have the mountain, which is establishing a boundary or a perspective, so that the spring then becomes focused and turns into a river and has a direction in which to flow. So what does a mentor do? A mentor is a very good person for providing a reality check. How well is our work going? Is it being received? A mentor can tell us if what we're doing is effective, if we're being heard. A mentor can also point out if there are things that we might do to improve that which we're trying to achieve. A model is someone who might be doing something similar to what we're doing with our power. And we can look at that model and go, oh, I really like these approaches. I like that effect. I like this tool. And sometimes we can look at that model and say, however, they're doing something over here that just doesn't seem to suit who I am or where I want to go. So I'll do something different. So with the mentor or with the model, we are being provided with an expanding perspective. And of course, the expanding perspective expands our use of our energy and, more importantly, the effective use of our energy. Well, there are many sources of input, and what I'd like to share with you next is a tool for being receptive. You can do this night or day, inside or outside, with people or by yourself. I would like to address how to access input. We're looking at the gifts of guidance, and you want to get the best guidance possible, and here's a way to go about doing it. I am going to create a hoop, a circle. I consider the hoop being in our center, and the qualities of being in your center are ones in which you experience balance, and you experience quiet, you feel a sense of calmness, and definitely some connectedness. And you know, when you're out of your hoop, you don't feel any of these things, and when you are feeling agitated or confused or dull, dim, or any of those things, believe me, the guidance that you get really doesn't work. So I have created a physical hoop, and I have stepped into it, making the process a very physical one. But there are other ways of connecting with your hoop, and that is using your imagination in such ways as the one my daughter used when she was a little girl. When she was little, I was sending her on an airplane to visit her grandparents in Washington. On our trip to the airport, she was quite nervous and wondering about the airplane and was it safe. And so I said, how about surrounding the airplane in a beautiful rainbow of colors? She thought about it for a minute, and then she came up with her own idea. She decided to surround the airplane with her stuffed animals. Definitely her sense of being connected and secure. So as you can see, there are all kinds of processes that you can go through. What's so is, it's an intention. It's an intention to connect with Source, to shift our mind, our state of mind, and our emotions into a place of both abundance and security.